From Cal Berkley to the cage, Kendra McIntyre is redefining what it means to be a modern combat sports athlete. With a background in software design and a striking game that's turning heads in MMA, Kendra's story is about breaking barriers and chasing dreams, and I always love to support athletes who are doing big things inside and outside of the cage. You should tune into this episode for getting some of her insights on balancing her grit, faith, and innovation in combat sports. And if you are enjoying these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you wouldn't mind just giving me a subscribe. Make sure you like down below, and always appreciate people's comments and feedback on this content. Now, Kendra McIntyre, let's get it. Welcome back to Fight Capital, where we enter the ring of combat sports business. I'm your host, Ryan Rapaport. Today, I'm lucky to be joined by Kendra McIntyre. She is a rising star in the world of combat sports, seamlessly blending intelligence, grit, and precision in the cage. She's a Cal Berkley graduate with a degree in business administration and a professional career in software design, where she's bringing unique duality to her journey as an elite athlete. And Kendra's explosive fighting style and dedication to her craft have made her an exciting prospect in women's MMA today. Thanks for joining me today, Kendra. How are you and where are you joining from?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm in San Francisco right now.
Yeah, well, so you split time back and forth between Colorado and San Francisco?
No, not really. I'm mostly in California, but I do, I'm from the Bay, so I do visit periodically throughout the year.
Yeah, I've seen you out there with Rose and Mallory Martin. I used to train at Easton Training Center, and my Muay Thai coach, Coach Sean, obviously coaches Mallory. So that's kind of how I got cued into you. But just really curious. You don't see a whole lot of athletes who are competing at the upper ends of professional martial arts who are working in software, and obviously just being a Cal Berkley graduate, probably had some pretty good grades to get in, but how do you manage the demands of both being a professional athlete and a professional in the tech industry? Because I know you do a lot of stuff in the user design side of the space.
So yeah, back in 2023, I had two full-time jobs as a software designer and also being a fighter, and it was very difficult. Like I would go to sleep in the AM, so like 1 or 2 a.m. pretty consistently. But I had a lot of money, so I love the freedom that came with that. Now, the tech industry is like tanking, so I'm unemployed. So, um, yeah.
No, you're not in the minority. I know a lot of people spent before I started working in combat sports entertainment. I was in a lot of early stage tech startups, and I just got so disillusioned with that. Whether it was like designing and selling software that was essentially vaporware, and like we're gonna have the brand new shiny thing.
Right.
And with AI, the rise of AI, it's just like people are cutting 20-30% of their workforce, and it's a
Yeah.
crazy time. But not too bad to have another cool thing to fall back onto, like competing in combat sports. But obviously the money is never the same as working in tech. But I know that you were a top ranked Muay Thai fighter before you stepped into the cage doing MMA as well, and that transition has been pretty remarkable. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced transitioning from Muay Thai to MMA, and how was your background in striking giving you an edge in the LFA strawweight division?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you expect coming from Muay Thai. It's like you have you do have some takedown defense depending on how the person is like trying to take you down. But when it came to like the double legs and stuff like that, like I would just go down so easily. And then like my jujitsu was like sport jujitsu, and I was like trying to do sport jujitsu and an MMA like sparring, and it was like not working. And I was like, do I not know jujitsu? And it was like everything. You think like my Muay Thai is gonna help me, like, I'm not that good at grappling, but my Muay Thai is here, so I'm gonna be in the middle. Like, actually, no, like everything goes down. Like everything goes down, and you have to find yourself in that sport as a new person. But I mean, as for an edge, I think what I loved about coming from a Muay Thai background was just like the technical, being brought up in a technical way where it's like these nuances and stuff. Like I had that foundation, and then also just being hit hard and just having tough opponents. So like it really gives you that fight experience in a way that I don't think grappling on a mat does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I will say too, like as someone who's kind of tuned in, I've been seeing this big push for strikers as well. Like a lot of the promotions want to see people who can throw hands and their feet, and I think nothing speaks better than that to that viral head kick knockout that you had at 180 LFA 182, and it seemed like that brought you a lot of attention. How has that moment changed your career, and what has that been the most surprising or rewarding aspect of the public's reaction to that? Hey everyone, quick favor to ask. Did you know that nearly 80% of the people tuning in right now aren't subscribed yet? That subscribe button down below is what powers me every week to keep putting out these podcasts. Big shout out and thank you to everyone that's been supporting me for this. I couldn't do it without you. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe below. It means the world to me. And for everyone supporting me, thank you so much. Now back to the show.
I mean, it's cool to see like how people reacted to that. And it's just something, it's not the first time I had a head kick knockout. And it's just like, it's not something you can control, that kind of attention, right? But I'm so grateful for the attention because I got to work with some amazing businesses. And that to me is like the best part. So that I love.
I think that's that always kind of like elevation aspect of it as well. And I know you draw, I've read that you draw a lot of inspiration from your faith and role models like Rose Namajunas. Can you just talk to me a little bit about how your faith influences your mindset and maybe that approach to training and competing in such a high pressure environment like combat sports?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to have faith, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like in the military, they say like no one doesn't believe in God in the military, right? And because like you get into situations where you're like, man, I need help outside myself. And I think for me, it's mostly like I have a lot of faith, but I still have a bad attitude sometimes. I'm still super negative. I still, you know, speak negatively. Like I'm really like a child in so many aspects. But I think what having faith does, it just makes you persevere and believe that like all things work out for your good and that God will help you if it's his will to help you in that moment. And it just gives you the strength to know that like, you know what, all things serve a higher purpose, even when things don't go my way. So
Yeah, well, it's funny. I recently rediscovered my faith in the church that we go to today. They're building a new church, and they're like doing it in a nice way, always asking for money. But today they were gifted $1 million from another church. It was like really unbelievable to see. And the pastor, like last week, was saying, like, he's like, I say every morning, like, Jesus surprised me. And I think he was pretty surprised today because it like came like mid mid service. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see. I mean, I'm just curious too because I have some friends who are also into the neurofeedback place, and like, and I think that plays a huge has a huge impact on performance. Can you just talk to me a little bit about your influence with neurofeedback and how it's become like an emerging tool in helping people optimize their athletic performance? Have you explored or incorporated that into your practicing, or are there any other mental conditioning techniques that you're leveraging?
So yeah, I've been doing the neurofeedback training, and that is kind of that's the primary thing I've been doing like for my mental performance. It's been quite a journey because as you know, everyone's brain is different, right? And then so when you want to get to the athletic performance, you're kind of tapping into those gamma waves. That's like your flow state. And like for me, I'm not even there yet. You know what I mean? Like my high beta waves, my brain is inflamed essentially. And so we can't even like tap into those cool stuff yet because we're trying to bring my brain back to a non-inflamed state. And so I'm like at level 1 and I can't wait to be at level 3. But I'll say there has been a difference in the sense that like I have more mental energy. So like I can pay attention to things for a lot longer and not get mental fatigue. I also don't have as much anxiety going into like these grappling tournaments because I get sometimes these grappling tournaments make me ridiculously nervous, like disproportionately nervous to it's just a grappling tournament and I will have like the worst fight or flight adrenaline rush, like it's intense and I don't have it to that degree anymore. I just have like a healthy amount of nerves now.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that just getting yourself sharper in the grappling department is a good way to keep testing that same like aversion to the fight or flight response when you have to step in there and do
Hmm.
something. As you know, like when you strike all the time too, there is a level of discomfort as you're transitioning and growing your ground game. So I can only imagine that's a plus in the end.
For sure.
Well, and I think you have a, obviously unique business background, having worked in tech. Given that, how do you see the role of like branding and strategic partnerships in building a successful career as a professional combat sports athlete? And is there any advice that you would give to other up and coming fighters about understanding the business side of the sport?
That's so interesting as I was like thinking about this question. There's some fighters who do the branding like really, really well, like Sean O'Malley, The Sugar Show, Conor McGregor, like Nate Diaz has a brand. Even like Habib has a brand, he's got that Dagestani brand going for him. But for me, I was just like, I think to have a strong brand, you have to have kind of like a strong identity of self.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't really know, or I'm still discovering who I am in this MMA world. Like, who is Kendra? Like, I don't really know. But I think as I fight more and gain more experience and just become more comfortable with myself, then, the brand will come. But so far, there's like a trend, right? Everyone calls me like super smart. You're doing the brain thing. I've never considered myself as super smart or nerdy or stuff like that. I always thought I was a jock. But yeah, I'm still like discovering who I am. But I think when you do have a strong sense of self and you're winning those fights and you're consistently performing and like, you don't even have to think about it, right? Like, you are the brand. You just gotta be you.
You threw out some other legendary and up and coming legendary names out there, but I know you've mentioned the dream of becoming UFC champion one day. Beyond the octagon, though, what legacy do you hope to leave in the world of combat sports, and how do you see yourself making an impact beyond fighting?
Wow, that's such like a powerful question. A legacy that I want to leave. I definitely want to be somebody who has, this sounds cliche, but like a positive impact, right? Like I want to inspire people. And it's like when people see me or encounter me, they should feel more inclined to chase their own dreams, to do what's right, to have more integrity. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is. And I want people to feel loved for who they are and that who they are is valuable and that there is big callings in you as you are. And so I just want people to encounter me and be like, you know what, I can chase my dreams too, in whatever realm that is.
I love that. Whether it's grinding in the office or grinding on the mats, it sounds like you're off to an amazing start, Kendra. And I'm really looking forward to following your career and seeing those next evolutions of who you are as an athlete and as a person. And I really appreciate you taking the time this evening to chat with me.
No, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll talk to you again soon.